Oh, what a good boy. That was a good boy. Oh.
We're all familiar with the seeing eye dog. Well, now meet Sandy, who's a hearing ear dog. Sandy is one of 30 dogs trained over the past 5 years at the Canine Helpers for the Handicapped facility in Lockport, one of a handful of such schools nationwide designed to assist the hearing impaired. Its founder and director is dog trainer Beverly Underwood.
We use any breed. We use a lot of mixed breeds or purebreds. They're all donated.
Where do you usually get your dogs?
A lot of them come from the local SPCAs or Save a Pet or individuals. But being able to use the mixed breeds, a lot of times we can save a dog's life as well as training a guide dog. And we do occasionally have purebreds donated through the generous breeders in the area.
What do you look for in a hearing ear dog?
Okay, it's important that they're a very friendly, outgoing dog with no fears or aggressions. They have to like working with people and being with people at all times. And of course, they have to like to respond to sounds, show an interest in them. If we get them as puppies, we place them in a foster home till they're about 10 months old. And the foster homes will start the basic obedience and housebreaking and manners for us. We then get them back, and it takes about 3 to 4 months to train the dog. It goes through advanced obedience training and then all the sound work. After we finish training the dog, the client does come and they stay here for a week of intensive training with the dog. If they run into any problems, they would stay longer, but usually a week is the amount of time. And then they return home, and for the next week, or as long as they need, we will go and work with them in their home.
Sandy's mistress is retired Buffalo school teacher Edna Gasky, who has been hearing impaired for 35 years. The strongest hearing aid available gives her limited hearing, and she needs help to detect some of the everyday sounds.
Well, I was avoiding crowds because I couldn't hear what people were saying, and I was shying away from conversations that were not directly at me, and it was just, I was going into sort of a shell. Didn't want to bother anymore. It was too much trouble to try and pick out what I needed to hear. I went to the SPCA and told them that I was thinking I would like a mature dog who would be smart enough to be trained to be my hearing ear dog. And they picked out Sandy for me, and when I saw that he was the same color of my own dog and that he was a stray, I said, I'll name him Sandy the Second. And it took about 6 months before our turn came around. We came out here and Bev tested him to make sure that he had the right temperament and that he would make a hearing ear dog.
I guess you both went through the training, didn't you?
Well, he was out here for about 8 weeks first, and then I came out and spent a week with him in the adjoining apartment here, and to learn what I had to learn, what he had to learn, and that so he could transfer his training to me.
And what kind of sounds are being learned?
It ranges from your common sounds like your doorbell, a door knock, telephone rings, smoke alarm, alarm clock, whistling tea kettles. It could be a baby crying or a person calling their name.
How long has the Golden Retriever been in training?
Maggie's been in training for 1 month, and she'll be trained another 2 months before she's ready to go to her deaf recipient.
And what is she going to do now?
Okay, we're going to demonstrate a knock at the door. When someone knocks at the door, the dog should run to the door, go back and paw the person, and we come back.
Maggie, sound! Okay, come on, good girl. Maggie, sit. Good girl.
Oh, he's picked up about every sound that I need. He tells me, besides the ones he's learned, he's also picked up how when the toast pops, when the stove timer goes off, when my electric oven goes ding, and just about anything. When the kids are fighting out in the backyard, and just about everything that he thinks I ought to hear. He even told me when Mr. Softy comes down the street.
Okay, this is a simulation of Edna driving her car. Normally Sandy would be riding in the back seat. We're going to set off a siren and see how he responds. Amelia would jump over the seat and paw her on the arm to let her know to watch for the flashing lights of an emergency vehicle.
I staggered out into the kitchen one morning and turned on the fire under my tea kettle for coffee. And when I went back in the bedroom, he was immediately telling me to go back out in the kitchen. And I said, oh no, the water isn't boiling yet. But he was so insistent I went out, and here I had turned on the gas and it hadn't caught. So whether he heard a different sound coming from the stove or whether he smelled it, I don't know, but I'm sure that he probably saved my life and my house and everything else.
Is that a special harness?
Yes, this is the identification for a hearing ear dog. They're recognized by their golden harness and the golden leash. Yes, I also have a golden leash. I call it his uniform. When we go in a public place, I think probably Beth told you they have all the privileges of seeing eye dogs. When we go in a public place, he must have his uniform on.
I imagine that Sandy is more than an extra pair of ears for you, isn't he?
Oh, he's my loving companion, my bodyguard, and my little boy. My precious little boy.
Well, you're both very fortunate to have each other.
Oh, and I just can't say enough to praise the work of Beverly Underwood and her assistants. It's just marvelous.
How can a hearing impaired person, let's say, apply for this type of service?
All they have to do is either write to us or call us, and we'll send them an application and information on our dogs.
Do you have a phone number?
Yes, it's area code 716-433-4035.
And if a dog answers, it's only Maggie.